All right. All right.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Command Your Confidence. I'm joined today by King Dre. What up, man? How's it going, buddy?
Man, how you doing? I'm doing
Doing
good.
good.
Yeah.
Just another long day, another long week, but I'm kicking ass. Today we wanted to talk to you about why you should be a player and like how to have the mindset of a player. But before we go into the show, guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I do a lot of subject where I help guys with self development, mindset. We bring in a lot of people through in the community. We also help out guys to help you level up in life when it comes to women, your mindset, game, and everything. So tell us before we go into the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, King Dre, and how you got into this industry, and yeah, just your experience.
Well, yeah, I'm a guy. You know, regular guy. I always dealt with the ladies since high school. It was a thing to, I guess, be a womanizer. Man, that was just a thing to do. So, kind of took it up in high school. Not when I say womanizer, I don't mean like mistreat people, but just date and deal with women. Sleep with
Mm-hmm.
men, sleep with women, sleep with that woman, sleep with that woman. It's just a thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to take a nut to the next level, and I wanted to kind of, have the upper hand and have more so control over the mind. So, that's why I started, learning when I was in high school how to like get inside a girl's head and shit like that.
Uh-huh.
That grew, so I've always had this nick for the male female relationship dynamic. Fast forward to my 30s, you know, I wanted to write a book. I had got the inspiration like 10 years prior in my 20s to write a book. Never
Okay.
did it because I knew I would have to get on the internet to sell it. And I didn't want to be famous. Um I didn't want to put my face out there. I didn't want to do YouTube videos or nothing. So I just didn't do it. And then I hit a point in my life to where I was like, I'm squandering opportunities. I have all of this knowledge about this type of shit. Why don't I try to help men out, with this book? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just turned my camera on and I just started doing videos. And then as doing videos, I started looking into who else was in the space. And I found people like Afi and other types of people. But it was basically to the reason why I got on YouTube was to initially sell a book. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and to sell the book, I knew I would have to get on YouTube. So and I wanted to help men not be taken advantage of. I don't like seeing men get taken advantage of by women. And I don't want to
Right.
make it seem like men are the victims, but taken advantage of due to their lack of awareness on how to deal with women. So I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to make it seem like, oh, men are just harmless creatures. No. But I wanted to give guys the skills that they needed and the tools that they needed so they can be successful. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to do that through a book. And so, in order to sell a book or anything these days, you got to get on social media. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I hear you on that. No, like okay, like just starting out, in when you were trying to become, when you wanted to become a player, and like maybe some of the like people you've talked to, what are some of the common things that you notice that are keeping them from having the player mindset?
um, fear. Fear, I would say fear is number one because they don't want to be rejected and they don't know how to talk to women. They don't know how to escalate. They're not bold enough. I would say fear is number one, and social conditioning number two.
Mm-hmm.
We're taught that not we, because in my environment we wasn't taught. I was taught bitches wasn't shit when I was a kid. But
Right.
generally the middle America and the modern, not modern, but the average American is taught. You grow up, you find a nice wife, and you settle down, just like the
Mm-hmm.
good old days. Well, what happened was the good old days are gone, and we in modern times and shit like that. So
Right.
guys still have this 1940s mentality in 2021, and it's
Right.
not going to cut it. So that, I think that's the biggest factor of why what holds by guys back is the social engineering in the way they were
Right.
raised.
And I agree with you on that because, like, coming when I first was starting on this journey, like, I kind of came from that same type of idealism. I believed in that one, I wanted that one perfect lady in my life and everything. I believe had
Right.
that idea of romanticism. And I took, like, and I always thought, like, I know this is going to sound weird, but I always thought you had to, like, be in love with someone just to have sex with them. And boy, was I
Yeah.
wrong on that. When I was
Yeah.
on my journey, boy, was I wrong.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not against like love or monogamous relationships, but
Hmm.
the way society teaches you is ass backwards. It teaches you to put the cart before the horse. How can you maintain a woman for the rest of her life and keep her interested, attracted in you, keep her horny, the whole nine, keep her, well behaved, keep her submissive for the rest of your life if you don't know how to deal with women? So you have
Hmm.
to play the field in order to learn how to do that. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to make it seem like there's something wrong with that ultimately, but you have to
Right.
go through stages first, and you have to play the dating field first to learn how to even do that.
Right, and you know, I agree with you because I think it's that lack of experience that guys have. Like, you know, one of my old mentors told me too. Like, you don't know if you ever heard of him, David X at all. Are you familiar with
I
him?
never heard of him. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, he's an old school guy, but he told me, Rob, you know, all women are sluts, but eventually you'll find one. But you got to just sleep around with a lot of them and gain the experience. And I think that's true. I think that we lack us guys. Some guys tend to lack the experience. And by going out there and experiencing all of, like the women, just playing the field. They not only get the experience, but I think they figure out like what it is they're looking for and what type of behavior they're going to tolerate in a woman.
Right,
Do you
right,
agree with
right.
me on that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Most definitely, most definitely.
Mhm.
Again, you just have to. I look at you have to look at it like a video game, right? You ever played any video games like
Oh,
growing
yeah,
up?
all the time, man.
Yeah,
Dude, mostly on the weekends.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a crazy gamer, but
Yeah.
you know, um, the conventional video game, you have a guy, you have a story, a character, and he starts off a level, right? A low level with no skills. Let's think of like an RPG, right? You
Mhm.
start off with low level, no skills or nothing, and to get to the end game boss, you have to go through levels. You have to level up. You have to level up your hit points. You have to level up your speed. You have to level up, gain XP, and become better to fight the final boss. If you try to go fight the final boss on level one, you're gonna get slaughtered. Well, in
Mhm.
the dating and relationship game, the final boss is marriage, right?
Right.
So
That
guys
exact
try to come into the final boss with no fucking skills. You see what I'm
right.
saying?
And do you
Because
think,
it's go ahead.
because they have those high expectations, do you think they have high expectations, and because when they don't, say they want, the end game, and, do you think that where they get lost
When
sometimes
you
too?
say high expectations, you mean men
Well,
have the
like when it comes to like you're saying, you're talking about leveling up and everything, right? And so
right,
you
right.
eventually marry. You says that marriage is the boss, the end game. So like you think, when some guys have those expectations where they believe that they don't have to put in the work and it just happens like that, and then it doesn't happen.
That's a part of it. That's a part of it. But I think the majority of it is not knowing that. Like a majority of the guys don't know how hard it is to maintain a woman over the long period. That's like very hard to do. It's a very
Hmm.
tough thing to do. When you see these guys who get these wives after, especially nowadays, not necessarily if they got your grandparents got together in the 30s, because there was literally a dependence for one another. But now, when you see guys that's been married to their woman since 2000, 2002, and shit like that,
Hmm.
these guys have something about them, right? There's something about them, and it's more than just money, right?
Right.
It takes a very high level guy to keep and maintain a woman on a leash that long, just one person.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's again, guys have the mentality to where they want to put the cart before the horse. They don't want to work for it. You have guys that have that, but I just don't think guys realize how tough that is, because they
Hmm.
go in the game. You meet a woman when you're 17, 18, and you want her to be the love of your life, because you don't know what else is out there. And it was, you've been waiting on your day to lose your virginity since you was 13, and now you finally got her, and she smiles at you, she's nice. And so, the typical mind is like, okay, I want to keep this forever, right? And so
Hmm.
guys get married young and shit like that, and they
Yes.
literally have no idea what's going on.
Right, that's true. I mean, where do you think are some of like some of the guys who try to maintain like that marriage and stuff? Like, where when they say they mess up, where do you think some of the mistakes come from? Lack of experience, or
Yeah,
just like
you can boil it.
qualities not being dominant in the relationship?
You can boil it to lack of experience. That's like the overall piece to it. But there's some other, like the lack of experience is like the foundation of the fuck up, right? But then you have,
Hmm.
not being masculine enough, not putting your woman in a place when she disrespects you, not
Hmm.
not leading correctly, not being decisive and making,
Right.
decisions, not being able to control your emotions. And a lot of guys don't follow these rules because they don't know. So I would say like the lack of experience is the foundation of a person's failure in a
Hmm.
relationship.
Right, exactly. And that because of that, they just kind of just messed it all up. And like,
They mess it up.
I don't know. So like, how can they like? So what do they got? I mean, is this like a learning process, or they just got? You mentioned they got to learn to control their emotions to keep
You
the
got to
girl,
get out here
be
and
more,
date.
more be a leader, guide the girl, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but the only way to do that is, you can watch YouTube videos. Like you were saying, you was listening to Afi and Afi coached you, but had you never went out and done it, you just would have been a guy who knew the knowledge, right? So
Right,
the key
exactly. And I think it's
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They learn the material and they don't go out there and practice in the real world. Like if you're going to
Right,
do anything, if you're working with a coach or if you're watching something, you can watch it, but if you're not like fucking going out there just like practice it, like you're just not going to get nowhere because you got to get that level of experience that's going to change your mindset.
right, exactly. But I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, so you you have to like the experience comes from dating. So how do you keep a chick for 2 months? Right. So then
Hmm.
you got it for 2 months, and how do you keep it for 6 months? Okay, now you got it for 6 months. Now she start pulling back. What do you do? Right. But if you met this chick and after 1 month you got into a relationship and now your feelings invested, your money invested, y'all moved in together. Now what? So you have to date first, right? You get your
Hmm.
chick, okay, let me keep her around for 2 months. Let me keep her around for 3 months. Okay, she pulled back. What do I do now? Okay, she
Hmm.
just disrespected me in my house. What do I do? How do I handle that? It's
Right,
different than, you being married to a woman and then now this happening to you. Because now it's like, what the fuck do I do now? Right.
right.
So
No, I
again,
hear
you
you.
have to you have to get that experience on the ground floor, and the ground floor is the dating market.
Right, exactly. And so, like, so from the dating market, what experience do you think is essential for guys to understand? Like, if it's like, should I mean, should they go out there and date multiple girls? Sleep around multiple girls and kind of learn from that. So do
Yeah,
you
of
think that
course.
also helps that? From having them have that anxiety to lose them because a lot of guys I think are afraid to actually be authentic with a woman and put his foot down because they're afraid they're going to lose him. But do you think by
Right.
dating multiple girls like that's going to help them with gaining that confidence to do
Yeah,
that?
because if you got three, if you got four women, right? Four and they all treat you good, and then
Hmm.
one starts to cause you a headache. Nature, like you don't need to read this in a book, but like your natural intellect, your natural logic and reasoning is going to tell you, okay, why am I going to deal with this headache, and I can go be peaceful over here and over
Hmm.
here and over here. Like you won't need to watch a YouTube video to figure that out. Your natural logic and reasoning that you were born with is going to tell you that. So this is why you have to do that, right? You date
Hmm.
multiple women, you have your options. But when guys depend on one woman and they don't know how to get other women, it's like, okay, let me put up with this a little bit more, because I don't know when I'm going to get this consistent, the idea of consistent sex again. I don't know
Yeah.
when I'm
Right.
going to get the idea of validation again, right? But what
Hmm.
happens is the more the woman crosses your boundaries, the more she starts to lose respect for you. So you lose in the end. You don't
Hmm.
know this unless you get out here and do it first, right? When you dating non-exclusively, right? And you got three girls and this girl give you a headache and then you kick her to the curb or you say, hey, listen, you got to go home. I'm not with that. And then you see how she responds to you. You see the positive response you get from you standing up and having your boundaries.
Hmm.
You do
Correct.
this, you have the strength to do this because you know you can replace her, right? So it's again,
Hmm.
it's very, very important. Like
Yeah,
it's
so
like
that I think I agree with you on that because like I think when because I think if you just focus on one girl and stuff, and I had this problem too, like I would be afraid, like I'd worry about fucking shit up. I'd be afraid to escalate with her sexually, afraid to like speak my truth, or if she did
yeah.
something that was disrespectful, I'd be afraid to do that. But I realized when I was talking to multiple girls and I had other girls I knew I could trust, like, it just didn't really matter and it made me more comfortable, like, because I didn't have that, like, one itis or whatever
And
you
it
want
was
to call
natural, right? It was
it.
like the
Yeah,
fit. It was like natural. Like nobody had to tell you, okay, I don't have to
yeah,
put up with this. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's like a natural thing. That's what I tell guys. That's the thing that I can't teach. We can't, as your coach, as you being a coach, we can't teach you that feeling that you get from, your knowing confidence in your abilities to knowing that you're going to be okay with or without a woman. It's a
Mm-hmm.
natural thing that you just natural. And I try to tell guys all the time, you can listen to me and listen to the techniques and listen to whoever, but until you go and you experience what it feels like, you'll never get it. Like
Right.
I can't tell you, I can tell you what to say, but only the feeling you get is going to dictate what come out your mouth. Like, just like you say, like, nobody had to tell you to, like, to have that feeling. Like, I don't have to fucking deal with this shit. Like, why the
Yeah.
fuck am I dealing with this, right? You
Yeah.
didn't hear that from anybody. You just know that, okay, I'm comfortable over here. I'm comfortable over here. They treat me right. It feels good. This don't feel good. Why the fuck am I dealing with this shit? Right? It's just natural. And
Right.
that's a part of
No,
being in the game.
exactly. Because like you know, like when you have multiple options, you're gonna and you can tell. Say one girl's treating you with respect and the other one's not. You can say, okay, well, kick this girl to the curb and be the one who's treating you with respect. And I think the same goes too. Like when you even go out there to approach women and stuff and try to meet new women. Like I realize, like more if you have like options and stuff, and you go out there just to go out there and talk to other women, like your approach anxiety goes away. I
Yeah,
realize
it
that.
does. It
And it
does.
gets to, I'll be honest, man. So like gets to the point though. Like I mean, once you get good at it, it
Yeah.
gives you a headache. So you just get really picky and shit. It's like you can just
Yeah.
tell the girl to f up, or if you kind of get the vibe this girl's not going to do shit, be like, okay, man, kick her to the curb.
Right. Now here's the kicker, right? Because I don't
Yeah.
want guys to see this and think, oh, you need a bunch of women or a bunch of women's options to muster up the courage to tell a bitch to fuck off. You don't.
Hmm.
The reason I teach it and guys teach it is it's like a temporary band-aid solution. The key you
Exactly.
want to get to, the where you really want to get to is where you can look a woman in her face and say, I'll do bad by myself. Not I will do bad with this other chick, but I can do bad by myself. I'm cool.
Hmm.
I would rather be by myself than to deal with your bullshit. So I don't want guys to depend on women for their strength, but it's just a
Right.
thing for guys who on a ground level to know, okay, you date women, you get the abundance mindset, but eventually you need to graduate and elevate above that. So, your courage comes from you depending on your own arms, and you can confidently tell a woman, bitch, I will sleep by my, like, I will like sleep under a bridge before I deal with you or any other bitch. That's gonna give me a headache. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And not the your crutch be, well, I don't need you, bitch. I got other women. You got to get to a point to where it's like, bitch, I don't need you because I have myself and my solidarity, my serenity, my tranquility, and me being my solitude. I said solidarity. My solitude is more important than your fucking headache. You see what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And like how
Right.
you
Yeah.
saying, like you getting bored with women now, that's what the level you get into. Like once you start to get bored with the women and it's like, okay, whatever, you start to get comfortable with yourself and you start to learn to grow and love yourself. And once you get to that point, you to be the coldest player alive. And women can smell it on you.
Right, exactly. Well, and I think too a lot of things like I mean, I was missing this too. Like I didn't have like, my own codes of what type of behavior I was going to accept and not accept. And this is outside of like, just meeting women, but I mean, it's just kind of like within my own self, and I think
Right.
guys need to develop that inner like, they got to figure out, what laws and codes are they going to have in their lives and they actually got to go out there and stand by that. And I
Yeah.
learned that from Steve the Dean. Like,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of taught me that. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys, every man needs a code. And again, the easiest way to develop this code, especially when it comes to women, is to date, so you can understand what you don't like and what you're willing to
Mhm.
tolerate. Because you don't know how it feels. I can tell you all day, don't date a woman with kids, right? Or don't date a woman who got male friends. But until you do that, you don't know how it feels. Like, you may be cool with it. It may not bother you. You may be a guy that doesn't bother you because that doesn't bother everybody. But what I'm
Mhm.
saying is like the way to develop your standards is to go through life, live your life, go date women, deal with women so you can see, okay, I don't really like that. I don't really like bitches who, cook with I don't know, vegetable oil. I would rather avocado oil or some shit. I don't
Yeah.
really like bitches who got cats because I didn't know cats make me sneeze. I
Mhm.
would rather a bitch that change her air filters every month because I fucking sneeze. You don't know this type of shit unless you dating. But guys, again, put the cart before the horse. They get into a relationship, they get committed, they don't have no fucking experience, and guess what? Now they finding out their woman, their wife, the woman who they legally binded to, she got all type of qualities that he really don't like. She does things that she really don't like. I mean, she does things that he really don't like. And guess what? You can't change a person. You see what I'm saying? It's that's
Right.
almost like pulling the wool over a person's eyes to be with somebody for a year or 2 years and then expecting them to change. It's like, well, why you accepted me as I was? You accepted me as I was. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah,
Exactly. And you know what though, but it's interesting you brought that up because I see some people like they get into relationships where I mean they're unhappy with the person, and they just deal with it because they have that scarcity mentality, and that's just kind
right,
of a sad thing. I don't like I said, I try not to push that on people. Like I've tried to like counsel people, but like you said, you can't change people. But
right,
I just never understood that. Now maybe, but unless I guess some guys just don't have that confidence. I mean, you got to have confidence to realize what it is you want and realize if you're going to like, hey, is this right for me or not? You can't just like you got to be independent. You can't depend on the female. I
right,
think that helps you a bit.
right. Exactly. You're right. You're 100% right about that. 100%. But yeah, yeah, you never depending on it's the worst thing, man. When you depend on females for anything, because if they see it, they know they got you. Women are
Right,
very
exactly.
conniving, very, very smart, and they know how to use you to get what they want. They're actually more conniving and manipulative than men are. Men are more dominant, but
Hmm.
women are a lot more underhanded with their game.
And why do you think guys tend to like? Again, this might lack down to lack of experience, but why do guys, Because I think a lot of guys they'll see women as these nice, gentle creatures, and then they don't realize that, until I mean, unless you become aware that, they can be sneaky and they can pull your strings and everything, and they know how to
Because
do
it's
it.
because it's the image. It's like that's what you see. If you don't see, if you don't see women behaving in the ways that we teach, you just don't know. So you think,
Hmm.
okay, you think the girl that was in your college class because she's laughing and she's. I was talking to somebody about this actually,
Okay.
earlier today. I was talking to a young guy about this today. Like the dangerous part about women is they don't look dangerous. It's like you don't the most innocent, sweet person, the woman can be the biggest devil in the world, and you don't.
Hmm. Right.
And the thing is, the tricky part about it, the deep part about it, is the senses that they give off are pleasant. Meaning, what you
Hmm.
see is pleasant, what you smell is pleasant, what you hear from her voice is pleasant, what you feel is pleasant. But she could just suck 10 dicks yesterday, and you would never know. Like you can't
Right.
see it. So what I'm saying is to answer your question, you don't if you don't like experience the underworld of women, then you'll never know because it doesn't have an appearance. Now, there are some women who mark their bodies up and get tattoos and smoke all out in public. Yeah, but for the most part, when you see a girl, the girl that you talk to in high school or whatever, you know, the girl that you talked to in high school or whatever, the chick who you vibe with her that you wanted, you don't know that she was getting a train ran on her last night because you can't see that on a person. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? You
Exactly.
can't see that on a woman. So if you don't see it, you just don't know.
Right, exactly. I know it's so weird because back in the day, I always used to think all women were innocent, and then being on this journey, I was more awoke to that, and it was kind of a shock though, and it made me realize like a lot of things. Hey, Afi's in the house. Hey,
Oh,
yeah,
what's up,
Afi,
Alfie?
how you doing? We got
What's up?
Alpha Villains in here
Alpha
too.
Villains, everybody. Shout
Yeah,
out to
what's up?
everybody in there.
Rock and roll guys. Afi, I'm working on the wrench thing, buddy. Um, but that's one of the things. Like I used to place women on a pedestal. That was one of the problems I had, and I think that's I used to believe all women were holy and everything.
Mhm.
Like they want romance. They're nice. They would never manipulate me. But it just took like that experience in life, and then like when I found out that yeah they can be manipulated like that, that's when I had to take action and make a change in my life as well, just to kind
Right,
of like learn how to navigate the road or however you want to say it, because like once you can learn to navigate that, like I think it gives you like an inner strength and power as a guy, and you can. It's either going to help you, make the women attracted to you, or just if the women doesn't, respect you, then you just tell her to, get out of your life.
right, right. 100%. 500 subs. Yeah, shout out to Afi, man. Afi,
Yeah,
AV, everybody else in the chat.
yeah. Shout out to
But yeah,
everyone. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight. Be sure to subscribe, guys, if you haven't already. This got a lot of great stuff coming up. But no, what I want to say though, like, I don't know, what. So, what do you think are some of like the challenges, like when guys are trying to like have this player mindset? What are some of the challenges that you see in them, like when they're
the
trying to
biggest
make a change?
the biggest challenge is themselves. Like that's the biggest challenge. The thing is that most guys are in their way. They're in their own way. And it's all boils down to like limiting belief. You don't just don't believe you can. You don't believe a chick will like you. You don't believe a chick will give you her paycheck. You just don't believe because no one told you that you can do anything. Nobody told you that you were handsome or that you were sweet or that you was just the great person. So you just go around life, and that's not even just with women. It's just in life in general. People just don't believe they can achieve with things. So I would say the
Right,
biggest challenges is just the person in the mirror, and until they can fix that, then it ain't gonna happen
right.
with no chicks. So
Right. No, and that's true. It's weird because I always thought it was all about the skill set and not the mind. And I
right.
realized the mind is more important than the skill set.
When you get the mind, you don't need anybody to teach you the skill set. That's what guys really don't understand. Now, I teach skills and techniques and stuff like that too for the guys who wanna, who don't have their mind together and just wanna, do some ready-made shit, buy a program, learn it, use it. But the key is you if you have your mind right and you have your heart in the right place and you got you have the knowledge, you don't really need skills or techniques. Like I've never ever in my life had anybody ever tell me anything to say on a date ever. And throughout
Hmm.
life, I've learned how to close. I've learned how to close on the first date, escalate, and nobody ever taught me how to do that. I had people teach me game and how to get inside a woman's head and little things to do. The pops taught me this, and but like when you in the game and a woman asks you how big is your dick and she's testing you on a date. Nobody taught me how to respond to that, but me being naturally who I am and confident, and I believe that a bitch should earn everything that she get from me, instead of folding and saying, "Oh, well, it's giving an answer." I say, "Well, if you behave right, you'll be able to see it one day. So just behave, and you
Right.
treat me right, and you'll be able to see it." Nobody taught me that, and that's the right answer every time, though. But
You know,
nobody ever taught me that.
right. You know, one of the biggest things I've kind of learned, like when I've learned from the mentor, like I've learned to like develop my own authentic response towards things. And I realized once I've learned to be more authentic and more comfortable with that, I've actually been able to deal with shit tests, been able to like escalate sexually with a girl. I think that's the thing it boils down to. You start out, you can learn all this stuff, but you want to develop your belief
Your own.
system. You want to develop your own authenticity, and when you see that your own authenticity, when it comes to your game, is working in the real world, that's really going to boost your confidence as a
It
guy.
does. That's very profound. You should clip that part. That's
Yeah,
very
well,
fucking profound. That's profound. Yeah. When you can see, that's cold. That's cold. When you see your shit working, your shit, the shit that you tailor works, and that's why I have the confidence because I know the shit that I came up with. Like I remember, like I would be sitting on dates. Still now to this day, I say new fly shit. Like you be talking to a woman and we talking, and I just say fly shit. I don't know where I got it from. It's just like it's in me because of the way I talk. And when you see it work and you see her light up, it's just like the feeling is like crazy, right? That would beat somebody telling me, "Hey, say this, say that." It worked. That feels cool. But like you say, when you develop into your own authenticity and when you develop into your own style, and that shit works, that shit get the panties. That shit get people, not only just the panties. That shit get, you can close sales. You can, convert people into customers just based on the things that you come up with. The
hmm,
confidence from that is like none other. That was a bar right there. You just said you
right,
definitely got to clip
exactly.
that one.
Well, and the reason why I brought that up is because like I just like noticed maybe this past month I've developed more of my authenticity as kind of strength, and now my biggest problem, and I'm not trying to brag, is like so I'm getting a lot of numbers and stuff, and I'm just
Right.
trying to my time management stuff. That's my
Right.
problem. But I was just surprised, like and I'm comfortable now. Like I can like sweet have some sweet sexual light talk to a girl, and she's actually okay with it just when I meet her. And I would
Right.
never done that before, but I just tested the ropes, and when I saw that was working for me, I just kept on doing what was working for me. And I think that's what you eventually got to do is keep on, when you're working on your authenticity, is see, to see what's working and what's not working, and stick with what is working and build upon that, and that's going to really strengthen your game.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's profound. I ain't never thought of that. That's 100% true. Like I never, not that you don't know it, but you never like to hear it in those words like that, and it just like, that's right. That's right.
Right now, I'm very deep on this because
Yeah.
like I said, I've been working on this stuff for a while. Like I did this like in the early, like in the mid 2000s, and then I took a break for a while. And then like I said, I've been really hitting this hard this past couple of years, and just kind of looking in like a lot of inside myself and bringing that out. And so just when I talk about this stuff, I get really deep about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's what's
That's just
up.
with like whoa, the Buddha of game or some shit like that, whatever you want to say.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
But no, and so that's true. I think like just you want to work on that authentic, working on your authenticity. I mean, do you think that's like that every guy too should work? Do you think that's a good idea? Authenticity is the
Yeah, of
key
course,
to
because
becoming
that's what
good.
they more respond to your confidence than really what come out of your mouth. Now, if you're not saying anything rude or disrespectful, but the the response the bulk of a woman's let's say reaction to what you say is her reaction is pretty much based on how your delivery. So if you
Right.
come off, you can say, um, like I just said, oh, when she said, "How big is your dick?" Because women ask you shit like that when they
Yeah,
test
they
you to see
do.
how to see what you're gonna say. Guys think that they mean like guys think, "Oh shit, she's horny, she want to fuck." No, that's one of the coldest tests. And if you answer it the wrong way, you out, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can say, like I just said, hey, well, if you treat me right, if you do me good and you treat me right, then you'll be able to see it, right?
Yeah.
Say that with confidence, or you could be like, well, you know, well, I was maybe if I don't know, because how about you treat me good and you know, if I say it like that, I don't even know how to act like I don't have confidence. That was a struggle. But if I say that and I didn't have confidence, it wouldn't matter, right? No matter what you
Mm-hmm.
say, if you don't have that authentic, you know, being you and yourself, don't matter what the fuck you say, really, at the end of the day. So that's the most important part of the whole game is being authentic and being true to who you are. Because the key to that is, and the real kicker to that is that's gonna separate you from everybody else because nobody else is you. They only made one you, unless you got a fucking twin or something. But they only
Mm-hmm.
made one you. So guys was like, how do I stand out? How do I be different? And be your fucking self because they don't make people like you. They didn't. Nobody else is gonna be like you. Nobody has your fingerprint. Your genetic makeup, you're the only person with that. Nobody has your voice tone, your voice
Mm-hmm.
inflection, the way you say things. So just be you to the core and be confident at being you. And you'll stand out. You'll be different. And that's what women respond to.
Right, exactly. And I think that's where a lot of guys get lost in this space because they kind of, well, I mean, even if they're still learning it, like they're still working on trying to develop that confidence and authenticity. Like I think like I remember like maybe back when I was probably 2000 late 2017 after I got out with my last relationship, I was going back in the field like with a friend of mine. I met him on one of those RSD forums. So
Mhm.
I was going in there, pretty much opening girls using the tricks that we learned from all the videos.
Yeah.
That wasn't authentic. And I bring this up a lot in, all my future, like my past interviews, because that's where I think I got lost, because I was learning all these lines and routines, and I thought, well, this is what's going to make women like me. But at the end of the day, I mean, it got me to like maybe one point of opening a girl, but it never really got me to project my confidence and like, we
Right.
have an actual authentic conversation and escalate sexually with a girl.
Right. 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 Yeah. That's a big key, man. A big key. That's the key, to be honest with you. But again, if a guy is fresh off and he don't know, take what somebody give you, spit that shit. It's a band-aid solution. Really, it's temporary. It's a means to an end. But your goal should be
Hmm.
to becoming who you truly are and be confident with being yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, and like when you can be confident, I know women respect you more, and the ones that are going to give you crap, you'll learn how to get out of that situation in a an adult manner without being a dick. Well, you can be a dick if the girl is being a dick, I
Yeah,
guess.
if she being a dick, fuck her and she fuck her and how she feel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, cause like when you learn to kind of like appreciate yourself and what you got, and you're going out there, just putting yourself out there, and even if like just going out there and taking action in your life is important. Like, even if like you're new to this and you just want to go out there, in the fact that you take action and you're trying to grow as an individual, I think can give you the confidence. And I used to always look, one of the struggles I always had though, is I always wanted the result. I wanted to I felt like every time went out there, talked to a girl or something, I had to have the result. And when it didn't happen, I got disappointed. But then I had shifted my mindset a bit, or hey, I'm going out there, I'm taking action in my life and working on this area. And like the more I'm doing it, the more confidence I'm going to gain in myself.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%, man.
And do you think that's a problem? Like most guys are trying to get good at this, like they focus too much on the result. I mean, yeah, the result is good to have. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they become what they call like outcome dependent. Most people are like that. They depend on an outcome to make them feel good instead of letting the process make them feel good. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
um, instead of instead of uh, me making the money from the course don't feel good. Like if I sell a course, oh, it feels good, but I'm not dependent on the money to make me feel good. I'm just happy that I'm able to do something. Like I'm able to put out a product that somebody fucking bought. Not the money that made me feel good, but just the process of going through something and do something that's successful.
Mm-hmm.
I get my bones from that versus the outcome. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not dependent on whether I sleep with a woman or not. If I go on a date with her, shit, I got to try a new steak and I fucking have fun. Or, that's all I'm worried about. You see,
Mm-hmm.
when you depend on outcomes in life with life in general, it makes you tend to be more unhappy, right? Because most things not gonna go your way or go as planned.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't depend on outcomes, you won't notice how much shit didn't go your way that day, right? But
Right.
the people who focus on the outcomes and the shit like that, they notice every little thing that fails. But the majority of our days fail, right? And
Mhm.
but we just don't the people who understand this just don't pay attention to it. You see,
Mhm.
I focus on my wins. I don't focus on the little shit that didn't go right. I don't really
Right.
care. I'm just happy to be here.
Right, and you notice like you are gonna have wins when you're going out there taking action. And that's
Right.
good. Like when you I mean, so when you have those like moments when things aren't working out perfectly, like you got to just realize that you had some wins, and I think that's important. But I think too when you don't focus, I mean, on the outcome too much, and focus more on the process of becoming good. Um, that is when you are going to actually develop growth because you're letting go of that attachment to having that outcome. And because when you let go of that outcome, that's where you're going to put your confidence out there. When you think so, when you're going out there interacting with a woman, right? Like
Right.
when
Right.
you focus on the outcome, you're going to fuck shit up.
Right. Right. Yeah. You right though. A lot of guys that I notice, they more so be concerned with, oh, I didn't, I went on a date, but I didn't get anywhere. And you ask them how that make you feel. It's like it makes me feel like shit. I'm like, why? You got to go
Hmm.
out, have a good time, fucking enjoy some good food, be around the company, get some feminine energy. Like, what is there to be upset with? Like, it's you know. So yeah, I do notice that a lot of guys tend to depend too much on what comes of their date versus enjoying themselves and having fun.
Right, exactly. I think when you can kind of just focus on having fun, I think that is going to make it a lot easier. But that's a mindset that we got to learn to you got to learn to develop. Like because like I said at first, like it's all about like the outcome. But when you can kind of make that shift in your mindset and actually go out there and just look at it as fun, I think that's when you're gonna be your most confident and like you said, go out there and have that experience.
Right. Right. Most
So
definitely.
and it's a process, like just kind of doing this thing. It's no overnight success. And when I remember when I was young, I wish I was like, okay, I'm gonna get this done, and like, I'm gonna become a player in like 2 days. But I ain't gonna work that shit. I
Nah,
ain't gonna.
it's a long journey. It's a never ending journey. But it's not even really to, with me, it's just a journey. It's that you don't even think about it. It's just like this is who I am, you know. And it's just I learn stuff still now. Just learning, just always learning. These bitches always there's always something to be learned. They fucking evolve fast as shit, man. It's just
Yeah,
always
right.
something new with them. Like you just learn something new every day with women, man. It's amazing. But it's just a never ending journey. So don't even get caught, especially with that. There's no really end goal to, there's no end goal to like, oh, you just this master level player. Nah, you can call yourself that when you are 80 years old and you've been married for the last 40 years or some shit like that, and
Hmm.
you on your way out. But other than that, it's just key. It's a never ending cycle of learning and bettering yourself and growing and gaining knowledge and having good experiences, pretty much.
Hmm. Right, exactly. So, just to sum everything up about what we talked about, what do you want to tell the viewers of the show, like about like the player lifestyle? Like, why is it important? What is the process, and what can become if they put in the work into that?
Well, I'll say this. Uh, it's important to learn how to play the field. It's a necessary skill set because you need that in order to maintain one woman. Most guys just want to get one woman and settle down with her. But again, that's the end game boss. That's the boss at the end. You have to level up. You have to gain experience. You have to know how to manage women. You have to know how to manage emotions. You have to know how to deal with combativeness. You have to learn how to deal with disrespect. You have to understand how to develop boundaries and enforce said boundaries. You have to learn how to keep women interested in you. You have to learn how to get them horny and get them in the mood. You have to learn how to take rejection when they say, I don't feel like it tonight. You have to learn how to respond to that. It's so much shit that you're not
Yeah.
going you have to learn this. You have to learn this, or you get with a woman and you're gonna flop every time, right? So it's
Hmm.
important that you get out here and you play the field. You don't have to do it all your life. Do it for 2, 3 years. After that point, you'll be tired of it anyway, right? But
Hmm.
once you level up your skills, then you give your relationship a go. But it's important. I don't. It's not to be cool or to be cool for the next man or try to be, cool for your social circle. It's to gain the necessary skills that you need in order to be able to maintain a woman in a monogamous relationship over the
Hmm.
long haul. So it's very important. It's again, you cannot put the cart before the horse. That's you have to do it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you more than likely are going to fail, especially nowadays because women are not dependent upon men for money anymore. 50, 60 years ago, when women depended on men, you can slouch and not have game and not all of this shit, and a woman will stay with you because she depended on you for her economic survival.
But
Those
now the
days are long
dynamic has
gone.
changed.
Those days are long gone and they're not coming
Hmm.
back. So your money is not gonna cut it anymore. So you have to get this part of your life squared away. Play it for a couple
Hmm.
of years, 2, 3 years, learn what you need to learn, and then you move on and then you elevate. You see, but it's very important.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's a lot to this that, and like it seems like the experience mindset is the key to living like player lifestyle and like growing your confidence, so you can be the man who can actually be in control of himself and the lady, and escalate with her sexually, be confident, and learn how to have the communication to show her, to project that confidence to her, and everything to make her want you and beg for your attention all the time. And
Right,
there's like
right.
so many aspects. It's interesting how what you
Yes,
just said. There's like so many things like that just
it's a bunch of
go
moving
into the
pieces.
circle, and it's like so it's just like even though when you think you have one thing mastered, there's like another thing that you have to master.
Yeah, and you have to, and women, one woman, you have to learn all of these skills to deal with one fucking woman. It's harder to maintain one woman over a long period of time than to juggle six bitches.
Yeah.
There's nothing more difficult than to do that. So, but hey, you got to do it, and like I say, and you have to don't be scared. Get out of your own way, and go do it. You can't if you want to make it to the NBA, you got to start playing basketball. You have to get in the game and you have to play. Get out of your way, get out of your head, or fucking fail and be miserable. But
Hmm.
this is an important part of as human beings. You know, dating and mating is an important contributor to positive mental health. And when you don't learn this and when you can't do it, you're gonna suffer, right? You're gonna suffer
Right,
from the pain
exactly.
that you have from bad relationships and women taking advantage of you, and you're gonna suffer because that's nature's punishment for not doing your job, what you put here to do, which is be successful with the opposite sex. So
Right,
just say
exactly.
that.
Well, yeah, and you're gonna like, and you mentioned a good point too. You're gonna like being on this journey. You are gonna have a lot of failures and stuff, but you can't let those like setbacks hold you back. You just kind of look. You kind of have to reflect and learn, do something different next time. I think when you do take the same action all the time, when you the way you look at it, when you say whatever it is, the situation is with whether you're trying to get with good with women, trying to escalate sexually with a woman, whatever it might be, or dealing with like controlling your emotions. Like if something goes wrong, yeah, you're going to get frustrated, but just think about like how can you react differently, reflect upon like what can you do differently, what behaviors can you do, and test it out. And that's how you're going to learn how to develop your like authentic self when dealing with all these situations. Like I said, there's so much to
Yeah.
this, that I mean, I thought I had everything mastered, but I guess there's like 50 other things, after what you just said, buddy.
And all of it is real. So a lot of guys they only master the pump and dump, so they don't know how to maintain women. They don't know what it's like for a woman to pull back from you uh 6 months in when you have feelings for her. They don't know what it's like when a woman stop returning your calls. They don't know what to do when a woman is supposed to come to your house. It's 8 months in and she say, "Hey, tonight I can't make it. I'm gonna go out with Keisha instead." They don't know what to do about that. They don't know what to do when your woman start you know, take an elevated tone in your house and start to disrespect you. They don't know what to do when your girl say, "I don't feel like it tonight" for the next 2 weeks. They don't know what's going on. They don't know how to handle that. It's so much shit that you have to learn, and you really only get this by being out here. And when I say being out here, I mean dealing with different women.
Right, exactly. And that's why, guys, like, you just want to deal with all the fear and shit, and just deal with all the bullshit and like go out there and just take action. You don't like sit around and do nothing. Life's all about, I think I realized this past couple of years, life is all about experiencing stuff. And if you don't go out there and live life and experience stuff and learn from the experiences that you've had, you're not going to be totally living life and you're not going to get good in this area in your life.
Right.
So, but anyways, King Dre, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you got to do a show soon. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at King Dreism, KingDreism, and on YouTube just type in King Space Dre, how to be a player or something like that, and
I like
I'll come
how to
up
be a
all of my
player.
videos. Yeah,
Cool, man.
yeah,
Yeah, I really liked the energy we had going on here. I just saw our show tonight. I had a couple ideas of more collaborations we can do in the future. So I'd like to
yeah.
invite you back on my channel and everything in the
Oh,
future.
most definitely. Just let me know. I'm down.
Awesome,
I'm
buddy.
game always.
Cool, guys. Awesome. Well, hey, guys, thank you very much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Yeah, and please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'll be going on next week with Mr. Lucario and Afi Kingdom on a week on Wednesday, so you don't want to miss out on that show. So definitely check that out. And yeah, and be sure to give it a thumbs up and share the video. And thank you very much for joining. And
Peace.
continue to level up in life and kick ass and realize that life is all about getting out there and experiencing stuff. Go out there, take the action. Like, you're gonna be fearful sometimes. I was there too, but you just got to just push through that fear. And I realized once you kind of can push through your fears, when it comes to communicating with women and doing whatever it is you want to, sexually escalating stuff, it's really going to help you build your confidence. And I mean, you're going to go out there and kind of be more like, say you want to go make out with a chick on the first date, and you go out there and put the move. I remember I was a guy at one point where I couldn't put the move on the girl, but I do that, and sometimes the girls don't want it. I just say goodbye, so that's how it goes. But anyways, guys, thank you very much, and